All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Rise Zion. My name is Seth. Now, as many as you have heard, the church recently released a statement on the issue of immigration. And as you might expect, the statement has inadvertently created some controversy on both sides of the political aisles, okay, both on the left and on the right. Well, we're going to examine this new statement for ourselves and also examine some of the claims made by the critics of the church on both sides of these issues. Okay. I recently created an episode about secret combinations featuring Tyler. Now, we discussed how these secret combinations can manifest online. We suspect at times that people claiming to be members of the church are in fact not members, nor have they ever been members. At times, their goal seems to be to drive a wedge between you and the church by misrepresenting what the church has said or done in the past to make it seem as if the church does not agree with your personal politics. Okay, now, politics really shouldn't be a consideration when it comes to our relationship with God. Now, and as far as the church's policies agree with you know, with the doctrine of the church, doctrine of Jesus Christ. Now, while it's much more common for progressive members of the church to abandon their membership over these type of issues, this is becoming more and more of an issue for conservative members of the church as well, I've noticed. So it's very interesting to read, for example, from the progressive Salt Lake Tribune, how the church isn't doing enough to protect and provide for immigrants, while those on the more conservative side seem to be mischaracterizing what the church has said to make it sound like the church has supported illegal immigration in the past. And now that Trump is in office, they say the church has changed its stance and they're just trying to protect itself, which just isn't the case. We'll get into some of the specifics of what I've heard online and debunk some of those mischaracterizations. So no matter what the church does, it seems like the church can't win, right? It's become kind of ridiculous. But let's dive right into it and just read the February 2025 statement here. And it says, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has reiterated principles and communicated guidelines to local leaders in the United States regarding immigration issues. As disciples of Jesus Christ, the following principles guide the church's approach. Number 1, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints obeys the law. Number 2, we follow Jesus Christ by loving our neighbors. The Savior taught that the meaning of neighbor includes all of God's children. Number 3, we seek to provide basic food and clothing as our capacity allows to those in need, regardless of their immigration status. We are especially concerned about keeping families together. Okay? The guidance closely follows statements made previously on these issues, which are available on the church's website. The Office of General Counsel, or OGC, has created guidelines to help local leaders comply with federal laws that criminalize harboring, transporting, or encouraging undocumented immigrants to remain in the United States. OGC also carefully tracks legal developments to ensure local outreach and area-initiated humanitarian activities are appropriate. Local leaders should be in contact with the Office of General Counsel for further information. Okay, so this is a very short statement, very straightforward, and it matches, as the statement itself says, with the other church's long-standing policies regarding immigration. Okay, some people I've noticed have taken this last paragraph where it refers to the Office of General Counsel as the church sort of trying to cover itself. The implication being that the church in the past hasn't been complying with the law, but now in order to avoid liability, they are complying. But of course, there is no evidence of that. With this new administration, the Trump administration has come up with new rules, and so the church would like to be in compliance with those. But anyway, let's go now and read the church's statement from June 2011. And here we can see exactly what the church's position has been for quite a long time with regards to immigration. And you might agree with what they have to say, and you might disagree with some of their statements. And I believe that that's perfectly fine. I think that you're allowed to disagree. In as far as your disagreement does not disagree with the doctrines of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, right? As long as it does not disagree with your relationship with God himself, right? I believe that that's okay. You can disagree. And you're allowed to have a different opinion, but I don't believe that the church's statement in any way is beyond reason. For example, I don't think that their statement is an endorsement in any way of illegal immigration, right? All right, so let's go there. Let's go to the June 2011 statement and just read that. It says, around the world, debate on debate on the immigration question has become intense. That is especially so in the United States. Most Americans agree that the federal government of the United States should secure its borders and sharply reduce or eliminate the flow of undocumented immigrants. Unchecked and unregulated, such a flow may destabilize society and ultimately become unsustainable. Okay, so this is very true. This has been a longstanding concern of conservatives for a very long time, including myself. So far, so good, right? Now, let's continue. It says, as a matter of policy, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints discourages its members from entering any country without legal documentation and from deliberately overstaying legal travel visas. Okay, absolutely correct, right? I agree with this 100%. Let's continue. What to do with the estimated 12 million undocumented immigrants now residing in various states within the United States is the biggest challenge in the immigration debate. The bedrock moral issue for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is how we treat each other as children of God. Okay? The history of mass expulsion or mistreatment of individuals or families is cause for concern, especially where race, culture, or religion are involved. This should give pause to any policy that contemplates targeting any one group, particularly if that group comes mostly from one heritage. Okay, so this part of the statement gave me pause, right? Of course, I agree with the sentiment. Mass expulsion based solely on race or mistreatment of individuals, of course, like that would be horrible, right? It would be inappropriate, and I think that the majority of people would absolutely agree with that. So where is this statement coming from? Where is this paragraph coming from? Was any such policy ever proposed? I don't believe so. So why even bring it up as if it's a commonly conceded fact that there is such a policy or a proposed policy or even such a belief? Right now, it's very easy for individuals to take paragraphs like this out of context. The historical context is also important. We should remember. So back in 2011, we should consider what was going on at that time in Arizona. Specifically, this statement can be seen as a critique of policies like Arizona's SB 1070, which was known for its show me your papers provision, allowing law enforcement to check the immigration status of individuals they detained under reasonable suspicion. Now, critics argued at this time that this could lead to racial profiling, where individuals of certain ethnic backgrounds might be disproportionately targeted for immigration status checks. Now, I think that this kind of overabundance of caution by whoever wrote the statement can cause some conservative members to believe that the church tacitly agrees with progressive principles, that any policy, regardless of what it is, aimed at countering illegal immigration could be considered mistreatment and discrimination based on race, right? And it's very, very easy to take these paragraphs out of context. But in light of the former paragraphs that we just read, we can't conclude that the church is pro illegal immigration. Okay, guys? Now I believe that what we can conclude is that whoever wrote the statement used an overabundance of caution and was attempting to discourage any such policy proposal in the future, and also to stop any appearance that the church would support any such policy, if any such policy ever exists, right? And it was even a call to have caution, right? As it said in the text, it should give us pause, given that there does exist historical mistreatment of minorities, notably even us, the Latter-day Saints, right, who were driven out of our homes based on our religion. Anyway, let's continue. As those on all sides of the immigration debate in the United States have noted, this issue is one that must ultimately be resolved by the federal government. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is concerned that any state legislation that only contains enforcement provisions is likely to fall short of the high moral standards of treating each other as children of God. The church supports an approach where undocumented immigrants are allowed to square themselves with the law and continue to work without this necessarily leading to citizenship. In furtherance of needed immigration reform in the United States, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints supports a balanced and civil approach to a challenging problem, fully consistent with its tradition of compassion, its reverence for family, and its commitment to the law. All right, so there you have it. There you have it. The church, as you can see, recognizes that this is a very complex issue, especially where families are involved. And as Christians, we're obligated to not only enforce and obey the law, but also to treat others well and to be careful and to have concern that our actions might become discriminatory even inadvertently. Okay. And I'm not sure I agree with this idea here in the statement that undocumented immigrants should be allowed to square themselves with the law and continue to work. I think that this is unfair to citizens of the United States who are currently here, as well as people who are trying to come here legally, who are in line, right? I believe, it's my firm belief that these people who are here illegally should go to the back of the line and wait in line like everybody else. Okay. Um, so there's points where I disagree with this statement, and I think that's perfectly fine. In as far as your disagreements with policy don't disagree with the doctrines of Jesus Christ. Okay, that's a very important thing. I think that some leftists have made the mistake of creating a moral personal framework that does not align with the morals of Jesus Christ, and therefore that definitely has caused them to leave the church in disproportionately, let's say. Anyway, again, it's a very complex and complicated issue, and there is no one size fits all solution to each situation. But generally speaking, the church is not pro illegal immigration, as some of these ridiculous statements I've seen online claim. So one such claim, for example, let's just give you an example here, says that Elder Uchtdorf supported amnesty. And I saw a video that featured an older gentleman talking, and it was some sort of a conference or a rally for Phil Lyman. But the older gentleman made the claim that that Elder Uchtdorf issued a strong public statement urging lawmakers to grant amnesty to 11 million illegals in 2012 in support of Obama's immigration proposal at the time. However, this just isn't true. Elder Uchtdorf made several statements that support the humane treatment of illegal immigrants, but he never called for amnesty, never specifically did that. And there's no evidence that he pressured lawmakers in any way. And that is just one example of many statements that I've been reading that have been taken completely out of context. Again, given our divisiveness in matters of policy and politics, that is very, very easy to do. And to make it seem like the church supports one thing or another when in reality it just isn't the case, guys. Okay. So just as a reminder, please be careful out there of the secret combinations that exist or efforts and tactics used by some unscrupulous individuals to drive a wedge between you and the church based on politics. We shouldn't allow these lies, generally speaking, these lies and misrepresentations to characterize our relationship with the church or with the doctrine of Jesus Christ. Okay. I think that's a very good reminder for both the left side of the aisle and the right side of the aisle. In as far, again, as your personal beliefs do not contradict the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay. And in any case, we shouldn't be, as Elder Oak said, alienating one another or trying to disparage other for their political beliefs either. But we should remain firm to our core principles as well. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Our goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers so that these important messages can reach as many people as possible. That really helps us in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.